Hey, welcome to podcast number 2
Woohoo.
of the Effing Details. Who are you?
Podcast. I'm Jill Simmons.
Your podcast. Your podcast, Jill Simmons.
I'm podcast Jill Simmons.
I am podcast Mark Simmons. And it's great to have everybody back.
Lovely.
Yeah. Hey, one of the things we didn't have with us on the last one, but we have now, Fuck the Details hats.
Yeah. Fuck the details.
And we have mugs as well.
Cool.
So what we said is we'll send a hat to someone who, someone puts, sends us a question at anything@effingdetails.com, and we'll pull somebody's name and send them one of our Fuck the Details hats that you can wear proudly downtown. And we wore ours a couple weeks ago.
Got a lot of attention.
We got a lot of attention.
People were looking.
People were wondering, well, is that political? Is it not political? What are they doing?
What are they doing? Yep.
Yeah, we're like, yeah.
Yeah. Guess you're going to have to Google it.
Yeah, find out. Subscribe to our podcast.
That's right.
Right. So the last podcast,
Yes.
we talked a little bit about both our histories
We did.
and getting through stuff.
Absolutely.
And where'd we end off?
Well, we ended off with how it was that you gave me the confidence and the push, and with all your experience, to move forward with what I wanted to do. And because I was probably feeling like, even though I really wanted to do it, I was not going to pull the plug and do it. And you helped me get there.
Right.
And that was really key and instrumental in my success and how I felt about this venture that I was going on, because it can be very scary and overwhelming, especially for someone who does not have the confidence that I have now.
Right. And I know one of the things we ended with last time was the bullshit story.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I had a lot going on in my head. I know
Yes.
that.
Yes, there's always a lot going on in your head.
Yes.
And I would assert that we all got a lot going on in our heads too.
We do.
And, what's the bullshit story we tell ourselves why we can't do the things we want to do?
Right. So for me, if I look at my history, I didn't ever have a lot of success in being an entrepreneur. You said that I have been a very good problem solver, and that's great. That's a huge skill, and I can see how I could take my problem solving skill into, my venture into Instagram. But there were a lot of stories in my head that I told myself. One was, I really don't like pictures of myself, which is hilarious because I take thousands.
How weird. Everybody loves pictures of themselves.
So
No.
initially I tried to get my daughter, Alexa, to be my model, because what I'm really into is fashion. I didn't necessarily want to be the fashion. I didn't really want to be the model. But that logistically it wasn't going to work, especially when you have to produce a lot and post on Instagram. So I had to be the model, and that was very difficult for me to wrap my head around. Especially, I do recall our very first photo shoot and how hard that was for me.
Yeah. And it was, I remember that as well. And there was a lot of pictures and a lot of, this isn't good. Nope.
Yep.
Nope.
And what I've discovered is if I'm going to post something on Instagram, probably is going to take at least 50 to 100 pictures. Probably less now because I know my angle's a little bit better. But you have to start somewhere. And I think that's the point. When you're my personal coach, obviously you're my husband, so I'm lucky I've got a built-in support system right here, and the best one anyone could ever have. Honestly, you really believed in me, and you really believed in what I wanted to do. And it seems very frivolous to a lot of people. If you knew what it took to do this, you would probably have a lot more respect for people and what they post on Instagram as far as fashion goes. But you believed in it. And I was quite surprised at how you pushed me forward, and you did really, really help me.
Yeah. I also appreciate at times when I may have struggled or said something and you would say to me, "So, coach."
Yeah, true, I did.
"So, coach, what would you do?"
Yeah.
Don't throw that at me. But
Right.
yeah, I mean, I think something that's probably common for a lot of people who do business coaching, consulting, and anything like that is a good supporters of other people,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
And you don't necessarily need a coach to support you. You just need someone to support you.
You need
One
somebody
person.
to support you.
Yeah.
I agree with you. Just having that person there who supports you is key. It really definitely helps support your dream. Now, you bring a certain skill set to the table that was instrumental in my success.
Which was what? What was my skill set?
Because you've been an entrepreneur and you know what it takes in order to move forward, and you guided me step 1, step 2, step 3. You guided me through the process.
Yeah. So let's talk a bit more about that story piece. Mm-hmm. Maybe not, it doesn't have to be specific to you,
Right.
but there is that bullshit story piece
Okay.
that we tell ourselves.
For sure.
And you may remember years ago, I wanted to do a TED Talk.
Yes, I do recall.
And I applied to do a local TED Talk. TED Talks were a big deal
Yes.
at the time.
Very big.
And so I applied because I thought I had this brilliant idea. Much like I think I'm the funniest guy in the room, and I'm not, I had the most brilliant idea in the room.
I thought it was brilliant.
I thought it was brilliant. Unfortunately, one of the judges there was like, "I don't get what this means," and he was really pretty negative about it. But the basis of it was when my son was like kindergarten, grade 1, and was in a talent show and walked through the door and didn't know what he was doing, and walked in and they handed out the program for the spring talent show, and it said his name and this other girl's name and piano and interpretive dance or butterfly dance. I'm like, what? So I went to the principal and I'm like, what's this about? Oh, he's playing piano. And I'm like, but he doesn't play piano. Like, we have a piano. He doesn't play piano, never took lessons. He can't be playing piano. And I kind of freaked out.
Right.
And the principal's like, it's going to be fine. Just go sit down. And I'm like, no. But so he was on after intermission. During intermission, I went back to the principal and said, come on. Like, it's going to be embarrassing for him and on. And he said, just go sit down, Mark. It's going to be great. So then they announce him and this girl, and they get up to the front of the room. And the piano starts, and he's playing on the treble keys, on the high keys, and doo-doo-doo. And it sounded like ballet music. And she's dancing ballet. And the people in front of us turn around and go, well, how long has he been playing piano for? I'm like, oh, including today? Today, as far as I know. Okay, I mean, it's pretty cool, because when you're that young, you're fearless.
Right.
It's the truth, you are fearless.
True, yeah.
Somewhere along the way, we start to have fear. And so the TED Talk was, when I decided to do the TED Talk, and he was about 19 or 20 at the time, I believe, and I said, here's my idea. I'm going to tell this story. I'm going to talk a bit about fear, and then you're going to come on, and you're going to play the piano. He's like, the hell I am. That is no way is that happening. It's not happening. Even with all of my convincing in the world, it was not going to happen.
Right.
Why? Because of the things that the fear, I can't do it, it's embarrassing, and I get it. I think for a moment though he decided he would do it,
right.
Which is why I went to do the TED Talk. But there was all this stuff at the time, and so we started looking at, well, what gets in the way between when you have no fear and you're wearing that cape and you're the superhero at 5 or 6, and then years later, it's like, put the brakes on.
Yeah, I mean, life.
Yeah.
So many things happen in life, and your encounters with people who may or may not be super positive towards you. You just develop a sense of self that you did not know you had before. So before he may have seen a piano and felt like he could play the piano, and then he suddenly realized as he grew up, I can play the piano.
Yeah. But think, you played sports. You played baseball, right?
I played baseball for 2 seasons, I think.
Yeah. So when you're trying out for a team, so let's go back there. Like when you're trying out for a team and you're pretty young, how old were you? Ish?
I'm trying to think. Probably 10, around 10.
10, okay.
11.
So when you go back and you're playing baseball and it's day one and there's people who know how to play really, really well, even at 10 or 11.
Yeah.
And there's people who don't. But you still go through and do it, which is a big deal. To be able to have it, because would you at 30 and 40 and 50 go onto a team, because it is a bit competitive, even at that age it's still competitive, and go, yeah, I'm here, and you're not great at baseball?
Well, I think one of the things that happened, I played for 2 seasons, and I believe I was third base. It really wasn't my wheelhouse, but I did do it, and, I enjoyed parts of it. Then when I was, probably around 22, 23, I joined a beer league, thinking that I would just go out on the field, and because I had played when I was 10, I would be, decent-ish, at least I knew the game. But in between, what I didn't realize is that I developed a fear of the ball. So anytime the baseball came to me, I ran. And I never caught anything, and I think I wasn't ever invited back. And that was that. I actually didn't enjoy it at that point.
Yeah.
I didn't enjoy the beer league, and I didn't enjoy being scared of the ball.
Yeah. I know I had, I'm not sporty spice at all. Sports was never my forte. When I was 7 or 8, my mom put me in tennis, and they told me really quickly, it's too bad, Mark, there isn't a class lower you can go into.
Ooh.
Yeah, I was told the same thing about guitar too.
Ouch.
Too bad there wasn't a lower guitar class, and it was all in the same year. So that's some confidence building right there. But however, I played baseball for quite a few years. My grandfather sponsored the team. We had Acme Electric shirts, and we were his logo's on it, but we were also whatever the team, Cardinals and the Bears and whatever we were called at the time. There was a few years, and my stepdad was the ump for Little League, and he was tough in Little League. And so I had to play baseball. I did. I suck at baseball. So in 3 years, I hit probably 2 balls. And the one time I did hit 1 ball, our substitute teacher came to the game. Yeah, it was grade 3. And there was a guy in my class named Ian. And Ian was really good. And he hit the ball. It was really great. Cool. Mark hit 1 ball, sort of, flopped it. Got to first base, but I think they let me. And the next morning was, how did it go? Oh, Ian was really great, and on and on. And for Mark, he's okay.
Aww.
Yeah, he's okay.
Yeah.
It's a little soul crushing then. However, I knew I was not good at baseball or sports or things like that, because it's not my thing. It's not my passion.
But what if you had enjoyed it? Would you have carried on if you had enjoyed it?
I may go into those beer leagues you talk about.
Right. So if you had enjoyed it, you might have carried on.
Yeah.
Regardless of what they were saying about you.
Right.
Okay. Well, that's good.
Yeah. Well, what is one thing you and I took up recently? Well, it was a couple years ago. We took up guitar.
Right.
I'm not taking up tennis because I don't personally enjoy tennis myself for me.
Right.
But we took up guitar.
Right.
Got guitars, started playing. We got an electric guitar recently. Not because we know how to play it, but because enjoy the practice of it.
Yes.
And getting some chords and,
Yep.
Really shredding the E chord now, and we're nailing that puppy really good.
I got a couple chords
We may
down.
go to A sus. I don't know. We're wild like that.
Wild.
But it's one of those things. And we look back at, like I did the real estate license I had options for me personally when I was 20, I did go into the food business, but I could have gone in the real estate because grandparents owned a brokerage. And my grandfather offered me his electrical company. He was going to retire. Here it is. Here's the guys. Here's the truck. Here's everything. And I said, I don't want to be an electrician. Yeah. So, some decisions in my life aren't necessarily wise, because that'd be a great decision back then, because I went into the food business for 17 years. But for the real estate at the time, I had to mail in a questionnaire. It was like a psychology. It was 25 questions they ask you. They send you back your percentage of becoming a realtor, percentage of success.
Okay.
So I filled out the 25 questions, mailed it back, because we didn't have internet and all that stuff back from the day when we were walking in shoeboxes and stuff. And I got a 25% chance at success at being a realtor.
Wow.
And I'm like, fuck that. I'm going to send it in again.
Oh, okay.
And I sent it in again, and they sent me back the results, and I had a 19% chance of success at being a realtor. I'm like, wow. And that included like passing the exam and everything.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so that ended that career, much like baseball ended. And it's funny, because I'm thinking about, later on in life, I did it and took the course and passed the exam, and we went through all that. But I was thinking about how events in your life, what people tell you, can really stop you cold.
Yeah.
From doing cool stuff.
Absolutely. So when I was in my teens, well, right from a very, very young age, so probably when I was 3, 4, I started ballet. And I took ballet classes all the way up. When I was 15, 16, when you get to a certain point in ballet, you can start taking professional grading. So they come in, and usually they're from, a prestigious ballet like Winnipeg Ballet or New York. They're quite professional, and you're in the room with them, and they take you through ballet steps and dances and exercises, and then they grade you, and then you have to wait about a month, and then you get your results. I failed. I failed, and that was it. I never took another ballet class and stopped dead. Basically, it said to me that I was no good. One of the things I didn't realize is that I have a little curvature in my spine, and I have scoliosis, so that threw off a little bit of ballet, which is very technical and very precise, and I just wasn't. That's not to say I'm not probably a good dancer, just wasn't going to go pro. And it's too bad that made me stop.
Right. There's these schools of thought around, you could be anything you want to be. We tell kids that all the time.
We do.
There's nothing you can't be, which is, I guess, generally true.
Okay.
And true. And if you have the support and the belief and the confidence in a lot of pieces, there are times, I think for some times, people have other opportunities more so than others, based on a lot of different factors. It could be socioeconomic factors. Absolutely. It could be a lot of things. Things take money, for sure. And so there are different opportunities for people, depending on multiple things. But if we take that out of the equation, it's important to take it out of the equation. You hear stories all the time from people who say, this person gave me confidence, that person gave me confidence, a teacher gave me confidence.
Absolutely.
Somebody didn't give up on me when I gave up on myself.
Absolutely.
And if people listening to us don't have those people in their lives, where do they find them? What do you do? You have these ideas, and we always say that people have a lot of great ideas in their back pockets that they've never taken action on, even thought about doing. Entrepreneurial, business, whatever it is in their life, could not even be business, something cool they want to do. Take ballet, play guitar, I don't know.
Well, it's interesting you say that. So if I look back, and I hate making it just all about myself, but if I really do look back on my life, and that's not to take anything away from my mom, she was a single parent mom, or anybody else, I really didn't have those pieces in place to say to me, you are good enough, smart enough, you can do it. I really didn't have that. Up until I met you, I actually really didn't have that. I work in medical and I work for surgeons. And years ago, one of the surgeons said to me, had a little conversation with me, and he said, I'm shocked that you didn't go further sort of in medical and become a surgeon or a doctor. He said, you're 100% smart enough. 100%. You could have done this with your eyes closed. This is a no-brainer job for you. Why you didn't do it, I have no idea. And I was really shocked at that, because that to me, it just seems like such an overwhelming thing to do. But here was somebody who was like one of the smartest people that we think of in society saying to me, you could have done this, no problem.
Right.
So that was interesting. I'm not saying it really changed at that point, but I felt a lot more confident in my job, for sure.
Yeah. And that's the thing, of the one person to believe in you can change everything.
It really can.
I know for us, like when we look at doing the effing details, and that's really about when the details matter and when they don't matter, and getting started means just starting.
Right.
And some people have that block in front of them, like even if you have that, still that first step. And that's one of the things we can sure help people with is starting.
Yeah, definitely.
If the podcasts aren't doing it for you, like, or is everything a success? Hell fucking no.
Nope.
No way is everything a success. Sometimes the success is just starting it. Sometimes the success is starting it and stopping it.
Sure.
And saying, she don't want to do that. I'll tell a story at some point about a client who went through that process.
Mm-hmm.
And the success was actually stopping what he was doing.
Right.
In an amazing way. Success is different to a lot of people.
Right.
But there's a hunger to find out, well, what does that look like to you? Like, what is it you want to do? And that's something I know that we can help with. I personally have worked with a lot of people who have helped guide them to do stuff, some really awesome, cool stuff in their lives.
I think also it spills over into a lot of different avenues. Even 2 weeks ago, I was making churros, and the recipe, it just wasn't working. And I'm a pretty successful baker in that a lot of things that I attempt just work out. And so I'm a lucky baker. But this was not working. I probably would have had an epic meltdown years ago. This time I just went, okay, it's not working. I think it's a recipe. I think I need a new recipe. Got a new recipe, redid the whole thing, and it worked.
Yeah.
So it was just, finding out what was going to work in that moment. And you helped with that too, because you helped me with recipe. You came over, you were seeing what was going on, you're experienced in baking as well. And so we just kind of did some troubleshooting. Yeah.
And in that scenario, sometimes the best thing to move forward is taking a step back.
Right.
Take a step back, take a breath. Let's look at what's going on. And see and try something new.
For sure. But I would probably have started crying, been very upset, been hard on myself, told myself I'm no good at baking, and I would have had an epic meltdown.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. One of the cool things is we always get to do everything. I ask clients, I want you to write down these letters, AGAIN. What are that? And like, again, what does it stand for? I don't know. Yeah, stands for again. You get to do it again. And you get to fail, and then you get to do it again. Oh, and you get to do it again should you want to do it.
Right.
You always get to do stuff again. It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
Unless, pull from the last video, unless you're the heart surgeon.
Oh, yeah.
Then you may not get to do it again.
Yeah.
So I want you to get it right.
Get it right.
But for most of us who aren't in those fields and the things we want to do, we can do it again, and we can keep trying, and we can keep going.
Absolutely. I
agree. You went from the churros that didn't work to making incredible churros, and they were freaking awesome. They really were.
They actually turned out really well.
They were air fryer churros, and they They were pretty amazing.
I was really happy with the outcome.
Yes.
And I'm glad that I didn't give up at that point. I'm glad I tried it again, found a new recipe, and everything worked, and it looked how it was going to or supposed to look.
Yeah.
So that felt really good.
And maybe that's a question we could just throw out to people listening is, what is something in your life that's failed before, or you've been told no, you're going to fail,
Right.
that you want to do, that you want to try again and do. And what's it going to take? What do you need to do to not talk yourself out of trying?
Right.
At least starting. And email us.
Definitely. Send us an email.
What's our email address again? We always mess this up. Our email address is, anything at
Effing
.com. We have it on the bottom of the screen right now.
Yes.
Anything at effingdetails.com. Email us anytime, ask us questions. You can go to our website, which is effingdetails.com, and there's contact forms and information on there. If you want to reach out, love to have a conversation.
That would be great.
I'd love to bring somebody on the big show.
Wouldn't that be great?
Bring someone on the big show who at some point we've helped. We're early on in this process, but at some point let's bring some people on and have discussions.
There are a lot of people that we know.
There's a ton of people.
Yeah.
And so we'd love for one of them to be one of you.
Yeah.
One of our people. All right. So good conversation.
Yep.
We appreciate you being here. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Subscribe to our podcasts on either Spotify or Apple Podcasts. And you can do so on our website, which is effingdetails.com. We have all the links. We make it easy. We've got Fuck the Details hats.
Yep. We got cool hats.
And no, they're not political. They're not political. It just means fuck the details. Just do it. Get it done. Why wait? The right time is right now.
Absolutely.
Alrighty, till next time.
Sounds good.
Bye.
Bye.